I'm Emily, and this is Indie Book Reviews. So I recorded this hours ago, and there was no audio. Thank you to my microphone. I don't know what happened, but here we are again. Second time's the charm, I suppose. So today we are going with something a little bit different. This week we read a mystery, and I'm not typically a mystery reader, but I kind of wanted to get into it. I just wanted something a little bit different, a change of pace. So we read Shattered Lives by Vineet Verma. Mysteries are crazy to me. They're so insane, and I don't understand how to write one. As an author, I applaud anybody who writes mystery thrillers because the plot twists and all of the misleading information, it's a lot to keep up with. And I applaud you. So for Shattered Lives, a very brief spoiler-free synopsis is that it is a story about infidelity and who is hurt enough to hurt someone else. So we have mostly a whodunit, although it does change pace about halfway through, and then again at the end. It was great storytelling, the author had a great voice, so that being said, let's get into talking about the writing quality. So for writing quality, we have a 4.6. I was drawn into the book at page 8. I literally have a note saying, I got chills and I am already on the edge of my seat. And that lasted all the way through. I had chills the whole time, goosebumps, the whole 9 yards, and I was just heart racing, trying to figure out what happens next. So the author did a really good job at keeping me drawn in. There were very great metaphors, and one particular thing that I wanted to note because I thought it was so awesome is that there's a very small part where the main character Daniel has a dream, and the way that the author wrote the dream was so realistic, which you don't frequently find in books. I feel like book dreams are usually just normal scenes but played out in your head, and they usually serve a purpose, but Daniel's dream was so chaotic and constantly changing. Things don't really make sense or add up, and it goes by super fast. I don't know, I thought it was really, really well done, so I just wanted to bring it up and point it out. Moving on to the plot, which I am most excited to talk about, I had that at a 4.9, and I will tell you why it wasn't a 5. I was so close. There was just one super minor thing that I almost feel bad about. But the amazing thing about the plot, and this might be genre related, but I've read some mysteries that I wasn't super fond of. The way that there are so many intertwined threads and how they all come together at the end is such a crazy skill that I honestly don't know if I will ever have. I strive, to be honest. There are so many pieces that I am constantly, the whole time, just trying to put together, and I never can. And that frustrates me. Mysteries frustrate me for that very reason, that I never know what's going on. I like to know everything, so when I don't, I'm annoyed. But obviously that's kind of the whole point of a mystery, to figure it out or not figure it out and be surprised at the end, which I was. There were multiple times where things were uncovered and I was having an OMG moment. Lots of caps in my notes for this book. Lots of caps. My super minor thing, it's not a critique, it's more like an idea. The main character, Daniel, is a famous author. So looking back, I kind of wanted his fame to play more of a role in his decision making. I think it's brought up briefly, but when you're surrounded by bad things like crime and whatnot, you're worried about your image, I assume, because his family relies on his writing as their livelihood, so I feel like it would make more of an appearance in real life, but it didn't take anything away from the book, so it's not a negative particularly, it's just something that I thought of. But don't get me wrong, the book wasn't missing anything. It had the right amount of wonder and curiosity and nervousness and everything that a good mystery needs. And what a good mystery needs is lots of characters. So characters we have at a 4.8. They were all so unique, which I think is important because every character is a suspect. and every character needs their own motives, their own behaviors for, you to believe why they would or would not be the culprit or be a victim. We get multiple point of views in this book too, so it kind of spices things up. You get to learn more about each character and really get to know their background and the way their mind works. Which leads me to my favorite character, which was Jonas, and that is the main character's son. Without giving anything away, I just think that he was a very complex character that I would happily read another book where he is the main character. I think he was written very well, and I would love to see him written more. Not that he played a part in this book, absolutely. Honestly, I would read his book. I would read his story. And my last note for characters is that the main characters were uncomfortably real. There were things about these characters, things that they thought or had done, or, their behaviors, their actions, and the consequences. You'll find, if you continue watching these reviews, that I love realistic characters. And realistically, nobody's perfect. And people in this world have, made some not great decisions. Not saying, like murder, that's not included in this conversation. Don't do that. But like other things that, relate to shame and guilt. They're things that we are uncomfortable sitting with, and when it gets brought up, it makes me, I don't know, almost feel like they're real. I'm having trouble explaining it, so characters 4.8, let's move on. So for creativity, considering how I've been talking about it so far, probably won't come as a surprise that it's a 5. Mystery is just insane to me. There's nothing else I can give it, to be honest. It was a good mystery thriller book. I can't fathom the idea of trying to write something like this. It is so impressive to me. You have to be incredibly creative and constantly be unique in writing any different mystery book to come up with all these characters that play their own roles and mingle and come together at the end, and behind the scenes, how they interact, all of it matters. That is some insane thought. That is such a crazy thought process that I just have to say good job. This was obviously done well, and with the complexity of it, there were no shortcomings. There were 2 big ending scenes. The second to last one was my favorite. I feel like that was just an awesome plot twist. Now that I know how it ends, I couldn't have imagined it going any other way. And then the ending, I think it's the epilogue, was crazy. So the wow factor in this book is definitely something else. Like I said, caps lock all the way through my notes. And to create plot twists, you have to be very creative. So that's why it is a perfect 5. And then my overall feeling was a 4.5, 4.6. I get frustrated with mysteries. I think that just comes with the genre. It is what it is. This might be, a personal thing. Not that it's bad. That's kind of the whole point of mysteries. So I'm not even sure if it really counts. But we felt good about it. Like I said, I already explained why we felt good about it. But I was energized the whole time, on the edge of my seat, goosebumps. I felt like I was going crazy. In a good way though, because there's no one line to follow. It's very not linear. So it's definitely it's almost stressful in a good way. Stressful in a fun way. Like riding a roller coaster. You're scared, but at the same time you're having a good time. So I'm gonna say this is a stress roller coaster. But aren't mysteries supposed to make you feel that way? Doesn't that just mean it's a good book? I would totally recommend this book to any mystery reader. Maybe not cozy mystery. Definitely not a cozy mystery by any means. But if you read mysteries or you want to read mysteries, read this one. It's easy enough for somebody who doesn't usually read mysteries like myself, but it's still so fascinating and more in-depth than some other books that I've read. So Vineet Verma did a fantastic, phenomenal job with this book, And I think he has a bunch of short stories out that you could also read. So our ending score was a 4.76. Obviously, I rated it 5 stars on Goodreads and Amazon. Left a nice review. And I encourage you to always leave a review anywhere you can for any indie books you read. It is extremely helpful. You can get Shattered Lives on Amazon for sure. That's where I got it. I also think that Vineet Verma has his own website where you can order the books from. So that was our review of Shattered Lives by Vineet Verma. And now that we're at the end of the video, I just want to announce that I released the second book in my trilogy called Perfidy. That's an author's copy. It's like not that cute, but if you like fantasy romance, you should give it a try. The first book is called Springhaven. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I'll have the links of everything that you need from this video down below. All right, so I hope you have a great day. Keep reading, and I will see you in 2 weeks.